Okay, guys, so hopefully we are live. Hopefully audio is working as well. I've got an earpiece in. I'm going to remove that. Give me a thumbs up if audio is coming through. I had to rewire some things on my microphone. If it is not coming through, give me a thumbs down. So hopefully people can hear me. Saying that no one is here. But I do want to address, it says I'm live, so Cindy. I know I mispronounced that. I do apologize. Just joined our channel membership. We definitely do appreciate that here. Thank you so much. Please, guys, give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. WV, how are you doing, dear? Good to see you. Thumbs up. Okay. I'm using StreamYards right now on the mobile, guys. Hopefully everything's coming in good. Got a lot of wind in the background. I'm in the truck. That storm has hit, I think it is New Orleans. We're in outside Panama City. We're using StreamYards because Rip Curl is going to be joining us. I believe he's kind of hanging around till 9 before he gets on. It was kind of last minute. I wanted the help from him tonight. For you guys that have been keeping up with our Twitter and everything, I'm not 100%. I had to go get checked out today. I thought I was having a heart attack. Really did. I had pains in my chest. Early this morning, my wife took me in. We called. She took me in, and it's pleurisy. I have been diagnosed with pleurisy back in 2010, late 2010. I thought I had a heart attack then. And when they hooked me up, I was in California at the time. I just got off the freight trains, and they found out that I had that pleurisy issue in my lungs, or outside my lungs. Basically, guys, what it is that your body has a natural lubricant on your organs, like your lungs on the outside, and your rib cage also has a natural lubricant. Well, spots of mine, due to chest trauma I've received, I've actually cracked my sternum and broke rib bones before. It didn't heal correctly, and this can actually happen from either infection or chest trauma. Mine's chest trauma. Basically, it's like sandpaper and spots between my lungs and rib cage, and when they friction rub, it feels like you're having a heart attack. Shortness of breath, sharp pain, and mine's right over my heart area, so that had me concerned anyway. And basically, when it's all said and done, you're just burnt out, exhausted. So Rip Curl will be joining us. I keep on popping into the guest section here, make sure that he has not logged in just yet. I want to thank Southern Boy Prepper. Thank you for calling me, checking up on me today, buddy. Let me roll through the chat right fast, guys. Let me get in touch with everybody. And again, let me go and say this one more time. Cindy, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's spelling I'm not used to seeing. Join our channel memberships. I do appreciate that. We do have members only videos. We are working on more of those for everybody, and I do appreciate the support. So thank you. And welcome to the membership there. All right, let me scroll through here. I see a lot of people. Brad A, L Michelle, Jam RV. Don, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Katie, Love Pugs, Christina, how are you doing? Jefferson Martial Arts, how you doing? Sweet Liberty, thank you. I will address this right fast, and I know I'm going to get behind in the chat, so I do apologize for that, guys, but hopefully we'll be on for a while. Sweet Liberty had emailed me this information as well. She had posted on that there's some issues with cigarette sales, and I don't have the email pulled up where it went in more detail, and she was hinting around thinking that it could be something with cyber attacks. Very possible. I expect us to be getting hit more and more, excuse me, guys, more and more with the cyber attacks within the next few days and by the end of the year. I mean, everything's going digital. Everything is going internet-wise, banking, everything. They keep pushing cryptocurrency. They keep pushing all this stuff on us, but there's no safeguard against hackers. There's no safeguard against cyber warfare. There just isn't. There's technologies out there. Every bit of technology that comes out, there's always a counterproductive technology to hack into it. I'm not saying we're anti-technology people. That's not what I'm saying. Hey, I like having a cell phone. I just don't trust it. I'm gonna lean in here so I can scroll through again, guys. Southern Boy Prepper, nice talking to you today. Yeah, I'm glad y'all are out of the way of that hurricane. VK Bear, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Eric Lambert, how you doing? Be safe. I am. My wife's home. It's just one of those things that caught us off guard. I really thought I was going down with a major issue here. Let's see here. El Michelle, be right back. My dog is missing from the yard. Go get your dog. I love dogs. I'm a dog person. Give me a second, guys. I do want to, shameless plug. I got my coffee cup in today. Oh, let's see here. Of course, we got the normal icon emblem with our survival living on it. We got that in today, and I have been drinking from it. So the other coffee cup is retired. Although I do like my other coffee cup, my wife had got me. I got this one. It's a smaller coffee cup. I think I don't know how much it holds. It holds enough coffee. Let's put it that way. But it did come in today. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not hurting. I'm just feeling really, really weird. I'm all right. All right. This takes a lot to take me down. Trust me. I've been through a lot of crap, and I'm just too dumb and too stubborn to stay down. Okay. It takes a lot to put me down. Let me check our guest list, make sure Rip Curl has not tried to log in yet. Dawn, you're not allowed to have a heart attack just yet. Yeah. The reason why, okay, I just got an email from Rip Curl. Give me a second, guys. Let me check this out. Okay. Let me answer him right fast. He is inbound to his house. Let me type him. Okay, there we go. Hopefully we're still here. All right, we are. All right, yeah, he's going to be joining us very soon. He's going to help me out tonight. Don, about the heart attack. Yeah, buddy. Reason why it's had me so concerned. I've been checked out. Always heard my lungs and heart are in real good shape. I've been electrocuted. I've been, it's just life. Both sides of my family has heart disease. Both sides of my family has had open heart surgery. Both sides of my family has diabetes. Thank God I have skipped every single one of those ailments. So luckily with what I'm dealing with right now is because of trauma in my past. And it's nothing as far as my vital organ, as far as my heart, as far as my lungs themselves. All that is good. When they checked me out, my heart is very strong. It's not as strong as it was when I was 20 years old, of course not. But thankfully, it is just something I can work around, I can deal with. And because of the side effects stuff I was dealing with, the symptoms, I can easily identify it next time and know that, hey, it's just going to be this instead of something that scares me out to death. Exploring with Michaela. Hello from Corpus Christi. Well, hello. Corpus Christi, that is Texas, correct? I believe so. Good to see you. Bones, how are you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Yeah, so I've been relaxing most of the day today. Vlad, I got ultrasound on my heart today. I tell you what, brother, everyone's just going through some stuff. Hopefully everything came out very good with your ultrasound. This is one of the reasons I don't like StreamYard, because my whole thing just jumped. Let me just get back in the chat here, guys. I'm sorry if I miss y'all. That is very irritating. Okay. If I missed you guys, I'm sorry. My screen just jumped. Don, I do appreciate the super chat, brother. Let's see here. You wrote, this next week will get more and more interesting. We all need just to be very much aware of our surroundings. Yeah, brother. Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons I am calling in. Rick Curley is going to help me with this topic tonight. Bones, I definitely do appreciate that, brother. Bones has just become a YouTube member here on the channel. And we've got many different type of membership stuff, guys. Those membership things, they each one's different price and stuff like that. What I try to do with all of our new members is get your email address from y'all, and then we have a one-on-one, me and you, on this StreamYard right here, that we don't have to download anything, and we get to actually talk about things. Okay, that's what that is. So far, I've only done it one time with all the members, and I am behind on that. There are some things going on here at the house. I guess we can go ahead and talk about that too, since I'm here now. And also another member here, Christina. Hold on just a second, everybody. I'm so far behind in these chats, guys. I am so sorry. Give me just a second. Let me pull it up here. There we are. Christina, I definitely do appreciate you joining our membership here, guys. It means a great deal to us. Let me go ahead and get into some news right fast, and I will try my best to get back into the chat, guys. We got a lot of well wishes from everybody today. It means a lot. We've got a great community here. I did see a comment, I forgot who it was now, said, you can't have a heart attack and leave us because the community needs you. This community is built pretty strong. This community can do without me. Okay, if something ever happens, this community can keep going, striving forward. We're preppers. We're strong people. Okay, we got the willpower and mentality. You guys do. Okay, but I'm fine. Get some coffee here, and that is hot. Okay, so what are we talking about? Some new things going on with the channel. With what's going on right now, my wife wants me to stay home as much as possible right now. We are doing very well with our YouTube channel. She wants me to pursue it long term as far as YouTube career. So I'll be working a part-time job from here on out. I'm not going to be working full-time anymore. She works at a restaurant right now, and she told me I need to start taking it easy. She knows that I have my own physical ailments. All right, I've been busted up too many times. Fixing to be 42. I know that's young. My line of work has put me through a lot. As many of you guys that have work construction, welding, things like that, roofers, y'all know how rough it can be over time. So my wife has opted in and said, get a part-time job, quit working all these long hours. She basically said, I'm not young anymore, which is true. So we will be pursuing more and more on our YouTube, guys. But yeah, I will be changing to a part-time gig. That way it just doesn't kill me and a bill still get paid. So that's what's going to be happening here with the channel. All right, let me get back in here, guys. Get back in the chat. So I do apologize for missing everybody. Southern Boy Prepper, where is mine? I think you mean coffee. Actually, we are going to be trying to get squared away with everybody on our membership pages, especially with our merchandise stuff, guys, and some type of reward for everybody as a thank you. So we are working on that. We're using Teespring for our the coffee cups and t-shirts and things like that. So we're going to try to put something together for everybody. Christy H, hello, how you doing? I did see Lisa Jones. Lisa Jones, good to see you. I do appreciate all your hard work, especially with all these links and stuff. I know I never really schedule my live streams on time like I'm supposed to. I need to get better at that, and I will. You're always there trying to help out, and we really do appreciate that. Lois Young, good to see you. See what else we got. All right, scrolling through, and I know I'll probably just jump past everybody again. Susan, how are you doing? All right, let me hit the guest button. Okay, I don't see Rip Curl just yet. Oh, Michelle, how are you doing? Don, welcome to everybody that's joining tonight. I like to see that. Definitely do, guys. All right, so I'm going to hold off on the chat right now. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple things. And like I said, when Rip Curl gets here, I'm going to get him involved with a lot of this. All right, so I've talked about in the last video, I think it was, that there are some groups out there that are pushing hard to not accept any form of electoral decision here in November. And they are openly saying that they're not. Will Patriot, which is now Prepping Patriot, I think. Oh man, I forget. He changed his YouTube name. I keep forgetting it. You guys know who I'm talking about. He did a video on this, and he was pulling up the website where these groups were pretty much their manifesto type of stuff. And also Greg Green, dyslexia. I probably said that backwards, and it's not out of disrespect. Sometimes I see things up here differently and it comes out wrong. I've been subscribed to him for a very long time. He also did a recent video, I think it was today, maybe yesterday, on just that exact same topic. We are seeing people that just plain out refusing. They're not going to accept either way what the elections say is going to happen, and they are calling for unrest. So I want to address a very specific topic: living in the city. It is easy for everybody. I'm not saying that. I know how difficult it is to uproot and move to a different location, try to find a new job, a new way of living. You can't just uproot, run off to the country, and be fine. People have their roots tied down into certain locations. They're close to work. They live there their whole lives. Is it a dangerous situation for them? Yes, it is. All right. So I'm not going to get on the bandwagon, scream and holler at you. You need to get out of the city or you're not going to make it. No, that's not what I'm going to do. I hope that you make plans on to get out of the city if these riots and stuff come to your home, come to your street. But I do understand it's not something that you can just wave a magic wand at and make it happen. All right, there's a lot to do moving your whole family. Okay, you can't just move your whole family to a rural area and expect to be okay. What are you gonna do for work? You see what I mean? All right. I hope everybody has a plan on evacuating if necessary. All right. Not all riots is going to cause a complete anarchy in your area where you can't survive. Many people lock their doors, shut their doors, and that riot just walks right on by them. All right. So they dodged a bullet, more or less. I know some people get upset about this. Oh, no, you're giving bad information. No, I'm not giving you bad information. It's not easy just to uproot everything and take off running. Okay, let's say that you take off running and the first riot that hits your city. Cities are large, okay? It might be, several blocks away or even further away. All right, I did see Rip Curl come in. Let me bring him in here right fast. There he is. Add to stream. All right, give me a second, guys. I'll make sure everything working here. Hey, Rip Curl, we are live, brothers. Can you hear me? All right, I've got no audio from you. Guys, can you hear Rip Curl? If you guys can give a thumbs up if you can hear Rip Curl. Well, he just disappeared on us. I lost him. All right. Okay, I hear something I hear a microphone now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you now.
All right, let me turn up my volume so I can hear. All right, guys. So I asked Rip Curl to join us tonight to help me out here. Rip Curl, keep an eye on chat with us. And I want to get into topics about what we can expect. I was just telling them the process. I know you've been busy tonight, man, and I do appreciate you being able to get on live stream with us tonight. I know you're a busy man. Um, I was just talking to everybody here about living in the city. There's so many preppers on YouTube screaming and holler for people to get out of the city. And I was explaining it's not as easy as that. You can't just uproot and just haul ass. All right. People have a way of life. They got jobs, their homes, everything there. I want to start talking about what they can do to help protect them and secure themselves being stuck in the city. I mean, we know these riots are designed and set in place at city levels, major metropolitan areas. So, with your experience and what's your thought process on this? Whoa, that just got bright as can be. Whew, that was the sun. Oh man, that blinded me. Actually, I just looked into it. All right, blinded by the light, man for man. A great song if
Yeah.
you haven't heard it, guys.
Well, we've been lucky here. It, we live in a smaller valley. It's about 100,000 people, and that's including all of the towns that make up this little valley in here. So it's a pretty good sized city and all together. But and you're right, it isn't an easy task to just. I've had that conversation with friends of mine saying you've got to get out of the cities because, as everybody knows, Portland is a mess. Um, and my sister even lives up there, and it is hard to uproot. As far as things they can do to mitigate some of those, well, one is having all of the supplies and stuff you need. I mean, right now, what I've been advising to people that I know is to get the food you think you need, get um your staples as far as your toilet papers and of course that seems to be the big one, but get all the things you normally use and then get a little extra of it, at least to get you past, say, the next 30 days or so. And the reason I say that is because I expect that when this process happens, we're going to have either way, we're going to have some confusion in the streets and whatnot. And I even advise going to the banks as well. Right now the banks are in the process of changing over the way they figure interest from when they borrow from each other, which is something a lot of people don't know. And that can cause some instability. They have mitigated it by buying up the banks themselves, buying up a lot of well, it's kind of hard to explain, but a lot of derivatives and things like that in order to keep it artificially low so it doesn't look like the market's tanking. But as we can see, it's starting to creep its way down. So one could say that the bigger banks especially, you may not have access to your money. So I would pull out what you don't need to cover bills right now, just so that you have it in your hand, because you can't protect an asset, or you don't have something to get things that you do need if you don't physically have it in your hand. And so if the banks were to close, or we were to lose power, or we were to have, well, for instance, just being too dangerous out in the streets, you wouldn't be able to safely get it or have access at all. So you have nothing to conduct your business with, per se. And it doesn't hurt to have that in a safe place at home, where as you need it for bills, you could put it back in there. That's just one thing that I've been telling people lately, because I could see it, going to the banks. Well, I wouldn't want to get seen going up to my bank and leaving with cash during a SHTF situation.
Yeah. I want to stop you right fast. You mentioned about banks. Yeah. When the lockdown happened here in Panama City, my brother and I, we got our first paycheck because I changed jobs. I left the ironworking job. We finished up that build, and I got the job at that amusement park. It's going to be easier on me. And they paid us with a paper check. So we had to go to a bank. All right. My bank's all the way in Apopka, Florida. So I didn't ever set up a bank account over here. And I went to go cash it, and the doors are locked. I'm like, what in the world? Why they got the bank doors locked? And they didn't have the Later, they locked down all the banks, but this was a particular bank that you can only use drive-through. So we went through drive-through, went to go cash and stuff like that. I'm talking to the teller, and she said, "Well, how much do you want of it?" I'm like, "Well, all of it. I don't have a bank account here. We take it to the bank that has the account." She says, "Okay, well, I'll let you know that luckily this is a small amount because we have a limit on how much you can draw out." All right, now we've seen this in other banks, and later it became a big thing here in Panama City that you can only pull out so much of your money. And then if it's a severe case, you won't be able to pull out any money. That's happened before in the past throughout history with banks. Even though it's your cash, they don't have to give it to you, which I don't like banks for that particular reason anyway. But yeah, we saw that here locally, right here in Panama City, when we went to go just cash that payroll check. And then I was asked one because I always ask questions when I'm at somewhere just to see what the response is. Sometimes you get somebody that's knowledgeable. A lot of times you get some and you're like, well, okay, go take a coffee break then, buddy. But yeah, that is something that people need to think about. Like you said, keep money in there to pay your bills online, okay? Because when shut down, everything's done by online. But money that you don't have to worry about for months in advance, if you have enough in there to pay your bills for the next couple months, I recommend doing it. If you have the money to pay your truck, vehicle insurance, whatever it is, months in advance, do it now, okay? And I've had people argue with me, well, if it's SHTF, I don't have to worry about it. Well, this was a miniature STS F, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shit hits the fan. It was a miniature one, and bills kept on coming in. Okay. So, and you're still able to move around. So if you didn't have your vehicle insurance paid up and you're driving around, now you just ran into a new issue when you get pulled over. And yes, they would pull you over. Um, so yeah, having a couple months in advance paid off is always a good idea. I know when I first started prepping years ago, that theory in my head, well, why am I going to sit there and pay all this stuff off if it's all going downhill? It's not. This wasn't something that happened like that. It was a slow slip in that we started seeing it, and we're still in that slip. This ain't over. I honestly believe this next shutdown is going to be a lot worse than what we first saw. That first bit was a little testing ground. And I talk to people all the time. They're like, well, the Charlie Victor, they're doing a shutdown. I don't think this is just for Charlie Victor, guys. I think the whole Charlie Victor thing was just something just to test out things for something else. I have not figured out what that next something else is, but you look at the numbers. We as preppers, I personally, yes, I wear a mask when I go to the store because of my immune system. I do not want to get sick. There is something out there. But looking at the numbers of what actual Charlie Victor cases are, this doesn't warrant these shutdowns at all.
Well,
So, with that
oh,
being said,
yeah, with that being said, I mean, well, first off, too, we have to remember that some people, myself included, at times too, especially, live paycheck to paycheck. So that might not be a concern for very many, for some people. But we also have to realize too, this is something that I think most people know, but may not realize, is that banks, if they do have a run on the bank, and that's the reason you found that they were limiting, is they were afraid. The reason they do that is they're afraid of a run on the bank from panic. Well, they don't have the cash they need in order to cash everybody out. They're only required to keep, I don't even know if they're required to keep any in reserve right now, with the way that they do their lending. It could actually be, the last I'd heard, it was somewhere around 8% is all they have to keep in there for their, and then they can loan out as if they have, everything. But the point that you made, so that being said, they're not going to have it, so it's best to have it stored away, and it also limits your travel. But let's pretend that CV doesn't exist and it never happened. Would
okay.
I, if things were falling apart because of civil unrest? Well, sure I would. One, so that I look like everybody else probably out there. Two, as things progress down the road in that, and you have your supply chain shutting down, you have your monetary system start shutting down, maybe, or I mean, so forth, like where the storm is hit. But when that kind of stuff, you have to understand that your sanitation isn't really working very well or running. Your trash may not be coming. So it's not about just catching the CV. You probably want to protect yourself from catching anything, because in an SHTF situation, getting sick is like your worst enemy. I can control almost everything else, but if I get sick, I'm at the mercy of whatever I have supply wise,
Hmm.
wise, or access to, medical uh, personnel. Now, fortunately for me, I have a nurse that is here in the family, and so that's an advantage. But she's magic by any means, and that brings up the fact of how do you set back medications if you're somebody that needs medications, um, and so forth. I have basically gone to doing my medications right now, at least a lot of them mail wise. And what I found is when I do the PPS and whatnot, I'll call them up and say, well, I need this refilled, and then ask them, and they'll say, well, do you need anything else? And I said, I don't know, you tell me. And a lot of
Yeah.
times medication, and I'm not quite out. So what I'll do is I'll put away what I'm not out of when I get it filled. And that's even if I get it filled locally. If I still have some left, I try to set that aside, because I know that in a situation where if the supply chain falls apart, um, I'll be able to have at least enough to wean me down off of something slowly, if it's something that I must have, um, and not have any kind of adverse reactions to it. But you got to remember, people think, oh, well, the supply chain is not going to just up and shut down just like that. Well, I can tell you this, as you guys all know, there were fires down here in Southern Oregon where I'm at. Even in that minor of a situation, let's say, and some people might look at the pictures that I did on my channel and say that's not very minor because it wiped out entire neighborhoods, but
Hmm.
they actually shut down I-5. That's a major thoroughfare, going from all the way from Canada all the way to Mexico. So that being said, if they shut it down just for that, and it was only for, say, a day, but as we know, right now we live in an on-demand um, type of supply chain. It's as it's needed, and all it takes is 3 days, and you could be out.
Yeah.
And you're out, you're in big trouble.
Well, let me pause you there for just a second there. I want to address WV. Definitely appreciate you joining, subscribing to the channel membership. WV has been with us since nearly the beginning, guys. WV is a very dear friend of mine. She's been with us for a very long time. And we also have Inner City Shepherdess. Definitely appreciate you joining our membership. Again, guys, that does help us out here a great deal. We're going to be working on some new content for our members only. We do have try to do our member only live stream stuff like that, also with our one-on-one. So to our new members that have subscribed tonight, make sure you email me at centralfloridaprepper@hotmail.com. Now what that email is going to do is going to set up, we're going to schedule a time, and we're going to do a live stream like what me and Rip Curl's doing right now. It's just a one-on-one with me and you, and we talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. It's never aired. It just stays strictly between us, and it gives us that little one-on-one talk with that. So something I want to do with all of our new members. So make sure you email me. When you do email me, put in your YouTube account name, who you are. That way I know who you were, because sometimes our YouTube account doesn't match our email address. So I don't know who you are. I get emails all the time. That way I know who you are and we can get that scheduled. Back in this one more time here, Rip Curl. Again, man, I do appreciate you being here and being able to do this with me. Rip Curl and I talk quite a bit. He talks more than me, but we talk quite a bit. There's a lot of information that he has, and there's a lot of information that he is not able to give out. I know that we've got some Ramad's here putting up his link for his YouTube channel. Guys, I'd highly recommend getting over there. He's got a lot of information that he is wanting to get out. He is new to as far as YouTube creator, but he's got a great support team. I am one of those support teams. No matter what he needs, I am always there to help him out. I've had a lot of help getting started on YouTube, guys. And I will always be there for this man. There's a lot of great people. Bones is one of our guys right here. Bones, I see him in the chat right now. He's got a great YouTube channel. He's one of our truckers out there. Okay. He sees things that we don't get to see. All right. He's able to talk about it when he wants to. He's able to get on there and share information with everybody. I was on the phone with Bones just the other day. He gets to see military equipment move around that we don't get to see. Why? Because he's on the freeway, he's on the interstate. He gets to see convoys moving, what they're carrying, stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't make any sense to the normal person. When you start seeing portable generators, and I'm not talking about one you just pull behind a pickup truck. I'm talking about massive sized generators moving down the interstate, and it's multitude of them. Why? Where are they headed? What nearest military base are they at? Are they leaving that military base? That information there gives you a heads up. We can actually look at things and go, this is not normal movement. Give me 1 second here. Inner city shepherdness. I think Marfin Rip Curl sent me here. Awesome community, love it. Well, we are definitely glad to have you here. Marfugal fam is always welcome here. We are a Fugal family here too. We do have our own content, things like that. Adam gave me my real big break on Don. I believe it was Don had left a message or called in to Marfugal one night, and we got our first love mob that night, and that's what got us over 1,000 mark. I enjoy calling in, talking to Adam and Dex when I'm able to. Right now, I think they've got a hold on their call-ins just because of everything going on with this platform. We have seen people get smacked down. I've had personal friends of fellow YouTube creators lose their channel completely. They have no access to their channel anymore. They cannot access it. We've seen what's going on. So for him to kind of take a step back and say, okay, guys, we're not doing the call-ins, it's perfectly reasonable to me because they're live call-in shows. If you got someone that's trying to sabotage you, easy way to do it.
Well,
So for them to do that makes a lot of sense to me.
yeah,
Go
and
ahead, bud.
that being said, they actually are doing the call-ins, but they go over to D Live. So be aware that there are other avenues out there, and we may all have to start moving to them eventually. There's a lot of them out there right now scrambling for that position of getting these creators as they get booted, because I don't think what people understand, and I'm new to it too. And I'm just starting to get things fine-tuned or get them tuned in. But these people have been on there for years, and all that work, especially like even you, and you, if you say just you share the wrong piece of information or the wrong truth, and they could just, that's it. And when they take you down, if you don't have it backed up somewhere, it's gone. It's gone. All that work, all those years is gone. And bring that being said, what's really important is, just like you said, these communities that we're building. That's the whole reason why I got with Marfugal and with you and a bunch of other places that people see me at and so forth, is because I think that the communication is going to be like the most critical thing when things do fall apart. And of course, power could be out, they could shut down the internet, whatever they do. We need to build these relationships and have some ways to get a hold of each other, because just like you said, how critical that is. And I'll give you just a quick example. When there's a YouTuber out here that is, I think his name now is Survival Prepping. No, Patriot Prepper, I believe it is. And it used to be Will Patriot. Anyway.
Yeah, we're just talking about Will Patriot.
Right. And Will had gotten a call from a sheriff, and they needed help because there was 3 sheriffs, and BLM was said that they were coming that way to destroy their statues and take down, burn down their sheriff station. And excuse me, I forgot about my code words. Anyway, those organizations were headed that way. Well, it just so happens that, like you were saying about truckers, they got a heads up about an hour out that from one of their subscribers. That's how important the subscribers are, and getting in touch with everybody. About an hour out, they were told they're on their way. And literally the guy posted video of vans and those big vans, those people moving vans, were driving past him that said the name of those organizations on the side. They all had shirts on. They were carrying on, playing music and smoking whatever, and headed their direction. And he was able to give them an hour up heads up, and they were there to meet them. And they literally drove down the road, took a look at the people that were there to stand up for their communities. Another thing that's very important is having your MAG or mutual assistant groups in your area, to stand up for your area. And they stopped, looked at them, and drove on, and didn't stop there. And because of it, they had no issues. And that same sort of thing happened here in our community. We knew there were going to be protests and so forth, and we just wanted to make sure that it didn't turn into anything more than that. We absolutely think everybody has the right to share their opinion, but you don't have a right to start destroying people's businesses and destroying our town and cause fear. And because we were here, we're not like Portland. We're down south in Medford, and we've had no issues whatsoever. And it's a little surreal for the people of Portland, all the other things that we see going on. Like you were saying in your little video clip there, that's obviously what's going on over in where's that? The latest place that just flared up.
My video clip?
Well, not your video clip, your little post for this video. It was Philadelphia, I believe.
Oh yeah. I don't know where that particular event took place. I've expanded my stock photos and stuff like that here on YouTube, trying to get better quality thumbnails and things like that. And that's actually a video photo screenshot from a video I got from I think that was, oh man, I forgot. I've got like 3 companies that I purchase video from and stock photos from. I have to see which one it was.
Well, I can assure you,
and that might be off of Power Director.
Yeah, and I can assure you this, it's as bad as that looks, because I personally saw footage of the local Walmart up there that they trashed and looted, and it's mind-blowing. And so it is a huge concern. That can happen anywhere. And one of the biggest deterrences is having a community that stands together, whether that be a YouTube community or your local community, or better yet, both.
Give me one quick second here. I'm not sure. I'm on StreamYard now, guys, so I'm not really sure about what's going on as far as people being removed or anything like that. I trust our mods, so if a mod has to remove somebody, I completely trust them. So whatever's going on in that department, I trust our mods. So you guys handle that for me. I don't have that ability to hide anybody from StreamYards. As far as I'm aware, we're not on our normal platform. We use StreamYards. We're using mobile today. Bones got me talked into using mobile, because usually I use my computer for StreamYards. So I don't see an option for me to take care of anything like that. WB says it was a mistake. We got it. All right. Thank you guys for covering that. We have some really great mods here. I call them on loan from other places. Actually, though, I don't joke like that much anymore, because they have become a huge part of our community here. You may see a lot of our mods from some of the bigger channels, and that's where I first was introduced to them. And for some reason, they like sticking around and hanging out with us. Don't know why. I mean, we're like the what was that phrase I said, WV, from the Island of Misfit Toys? Yeah, but back to I got sidetracked there. I apologize. Communication. Okay, communication. We know that internet will go down. All right, let's talk SHTF, guys. If you want to cordon off an area, let's say government, internet, cell phones, done. All right, but let's say it's an SHTF event. Internet, cell phones are not going to be working. Communication between prepper groups is going to be key. We've talked about and showed two-way radios, CBs, ham radios here on this channel. I do believe these things are going to be very essential All right. Now, for them to survive a coronal mass ejection or an EMP, they need to be in Faraday cages. Okay. Some people say as long as they're unplugged, they'll be okay. That may be. Personally, I take the next step precaution and I build my own Faraday cages. That way I know for a fact they're going to be working. Well, CFP without power, how are you going to get this stuff working? Well, all these are 12-volt systems, okay? We have solar, we have replacement parts for solar, and we do have solar equipment in Faraday cages. Solar is not that expensive as many may think, all right? Mainly because you see the advertisements where they can do a whole house solar thing, and it's going to cost you $50,000 to do it. You can make a small solar project a lot cheaper. We live in our 6x12 trailer, okay? The solar we have on the trailer alone with a battery banks, inverter, everything was under $2,000. Easy, under 2 grand. We got guaranteed, we got power. Okay. Our biggest buy on those was our batteries. They're about 160 some dollars a piece. Okay. Our panels were 80 bucks, I think it was. We bought through Amazon. All that stuff we bought off Amazon. And we've been using it daily since February. All right. I tested everything out before we left Apopka, but ever since we moved here in February, we've been using it every day. Haven't had any issues. Do you have to build one exactly like mine? No. Do you have to build one with all my links? No, you don't. If you find a place that sells it cheaper, go for it. Having backup power will run radios and things. The reason I say radios, having a two-way communication, regular walkie-talkie guys, they only got 1 to 2 miles for even the cheap ones, 1 to 2 miles line of sight, as long as there's not hills and stuff like that. That keeps you in communication with your security detail, protecting your home, your community around you. I like CBs. CBs reach out a lot further. CBs is the next step. It's cheaper than ham. All right. And then, of course, in the end time of the list is ham radios. Ham radios have a longer range. My buddy Bones, that is in our chat, got a lot of great information on ham radios and with repeaters. Good thing about community here on YouTube, you can get in touch with the information you need now, and you can plan on that information. Ham radio is definitely something that's going to be used for longer reach outs. But CBs, you've given a good 10 to 12 mile radius with a good CB of your area. Knowing what's coming towards you 12 miles down the road is going to give you a good heads up way in advance to get things prepared and ready to go if something is coming your way. So yeah, having communications is definitely a good idea, and it's not that expensive. You can get a CB, a decent CB for about 40 bucks. All right, 8 to 10 mile range. All right, sure, you got to get a nice CB antenna lanyard, stuff like that, so you can reach out even further. But a decent one, 40 bucks. 1 to 2 mile personal radios. We show the Redivis. Some people don't like Redivis. We like Redivis. It works fine for what we have here. I think it was 30 bucks for 2 ways. So, I mean, it can be done on the cheap. If you want to go to the extreme, you can. You can spend a lot more money, more range, better equipment. That's up to y'all. But yeah, having some type of communication between everybody lets you know what's going on around you. Now, right now, we have the internet where we can see what's going around the country and world. And utilizing that information right now, especially with the shutdown that we're fixing to see. The reason I say it's going to be worse, we are modeling everything off what's going on overseas. Look at the unrest. Look at the stringent lockdown they're putting on their people there. That's going to happen here. My thoughts.
Yeah, well, and you bring up a good point there. I like to look at everything that I do wise as best I can to diversify it, and that's why all of the examples you said are good ideas. And you don't have to get them all at once; you can build them up. But for instance, the regular two-way radios that you can get in Costco or any place like that, some of them have maybe straight line of sight about 5 mile radius. If you get like a 8 watt or 5 watt or something like that, those are actually good so that you can communicate if you're, say, out looking for stuff and you have to split up. or you're at home and the store that you're going to is just down the road, or your family member is just down the road that you have to talk to. So that's a good thing to have, as well as communication between rigs. I like to use those. I think CBs are important because let's say you have SHTF light, which would be where, you know, there's still power and things like that running along, but let's say we've gotten taken and we've got National Guard involved and things like that that are restricting travel and so forth. And that can very well be possible with CV going on. It's already actually happening in some areas. Last I heard, I think New York or parts of New York City have said no travelers coming in, period.
Mm-hmm.
And people have to stay put where they're at. So that being said, you can use the CB not just to communicate, but to listen. I think you can
Yep.
listen to the trucks that are moving, find out what the supply chain is doing, maybe even talk to a few truckers that you know, make friends with them, things like that. The other thing I would recommend would be a scanner. That way you have
Yeah.
an idea of what's happening in your town. I mean, that would be invaluable if you're having riots and so forth like that, is to know where to avoid. That's why I listen to them. We don't have going on here, but if I did, that's one of the first things I would turn on is the scanner, so I know which parts of town to avoid, what's going what's on fire, what's not. It also would help you figure out where your escape route would be if you have to leave. You know, you don't want to go right through the middle of something. I mean, we've seen what happens in these riots. They attack your cars for no reason. They don't
Yep.
even your friendly or foe to their cause. So that way you can avoid those kind of situations. And then lastly, of course, is the ham radios. A friend of mine got me into those a long time ago. So I have from the Bowfangs that everybody else have, and I have those in Faraday
Mm-hmm.
cage I built. And you can build a Faraday cage. You get on the YouTube and they'll show you how to build them out of all kinds of things. I have one I did out of a trash can and added layers of different types of materials to the inside of it to protect. And built that up. I'll probably do a video on it sometime. And then I have ones I built just out of little ammo cans that you can get at any Army surplus store, and that's in every one of my cars. So my kids go and I have them in there. So time comes to go to get it. The thing about ham radios is you can see they're kind of worried about them because in California they started taking them down, the repeating towers.
Yeah.
So that show you now here in Oregon, we still have repeaters, and I can guarantee you, if things go SHTF, people are going to start putting towers up, and they're going to start
Yep.
repeating. So you might not have it right away, but with a ham radio, you can have a greater distance of communication if you need it, as well as you can also tap into the emergency channels with those, or weather with those, and
Yep.
so there are a good thing to have as well. And so I would just start to build up with whatever you can afford and do that. Now some of those ham radios are only you know $50 for two of them, so
Mm-hmm.
the internet if you can get them. And I would say just get them, even if it's just to put in a box and not use for right now. But the scanner is definitely, I think, is something that people should have.
Yeah, we need to get a scanner. We don't have a scanner. That's actually something that slipped us. I'm glad you brought that. We will be getting a scanner. That's a very good idea. I got a couple of things to address right fast. The Faraday cages. We did a video. We made one out of a 5-gallon bucket. Faraday cage. It's in my earlier videos. I'm pretty sure if it's a simple YouTube search, you can find it. Real easy to do. You just test it with an actual radio and walkie-talkie to see if you get any type of reception out of it. It does give you protection. And I did put up a comment here. I want to address this. This is done by Who Knows One. If a CME or EMP happens, it's highly unlikely your solar that was exposed to EMP will work. You'll be in the dark with the rest of us. Actually, yes, that is correct. But I just recently did a video with solar panels. You got diodes in the back of them. All right. Open up your panel. You got a little modular box in the back of those things. Take a look at what the diodes are. All right. Get replacement for them. They're not expensive at all. They're like 18 cents. Okay. As long as you know how to solder, you're good to go. Soldering is not hard to do. Maybe I do a video on how to solder, how to do minor electronicals. So now your wires coming from your solar panels. They can melt down. All right, there's theory that because the charge going through, they can melt down. Your panel themselves will be fine. Now your charge controller will get fried. Okay, that charge controller will burn out. As far as your inverter, that's far down the line past the battery banks. I think your charge controller will burn out first. We have spare charge controllers that are in Faraday cages and also inverters that are in Faraday cages. Your batteries will be fine. They will not get hurt, but your electrical lines coming from your solar panels could possibly melt. They've done that with a Carrington event with the telegraph cables. So using what has happened in history, having extra cable, MC4 connectors is a good idea. Keeping them in a Faraday cage, you're good to go. I did have comments about solar panels. Well, it's so big. How do you make a Faraday cage with that? Quite easy. Most solar panels come in a cardboard box with styrofoam and everything inside of them. Wrap it up with like 12 layers of aluminum foil. It does add protection. Keep it shielded in a metal storage facility, a metal shed. That also acts with a protectant level too. So with the panels themselves, it's just the diodes that burn out, okay? Because when they hit that first charge, that's what pops. Real simple fix. So yes, you are correct in that, but there are steps to protect yourself. Um, Rip Curl, I'm going to let you take control for a minute. I've got to use the restroom.
Okay.
I'll be right back. You can hit on whatever you want to. I'll be right back, guys. So if y'all excuse me.
Well, and I'll just touch base with you on the solar panel idea. One thing we got to remember too is we really don't have a clear idea of what an EMP is going to do. We have something that happened a long time ago in the Carrington event, but we don't know exactly the extent of it because back then it was just telegraph wires and it took them down. We don't know to the extent, obviously not bad enough that they stopped making telegraphs. So they were able to recover from it. The other thing is we don't know. They can't say 100% what rigs will run or not. An idea that I had is I have a fairly older rig, but it has a computer too that controls the mainly the fuel injection in it or the throttle body injection. I just went to a junkyard and got a little computer like this. It's underneath the seat of your car and got a spare. And I put it in a Faraday cage. So if it does burn it out, I can just take out the old one and put in the new one. Now, I may have certain things like fuses that were blown and whatnot. So I carry fuses to so my lights and so forth work. But there is also a possibility that, it won't affect a lot of cars that they don't really know for sure. But you take precautions like that. So get yourself a little control computer module that's usually under the seat of most cars because it's safer there. And just like I say, put it away. Now, as far as the solar, it may take out the solar that it's there. It may not. You might be able just to disconnect it. I mean, you're not going to know when the event's going to come. So likely it's going to get it. But you can always take, for instance, just had them cheap and Harbor Freight carries them cheap. They're not really super great ones, but what they will allow you to do is you can, like I said, keep them in boxes and store them in a storage unit or edit your house or something like that. That will help protect it, as well as you can use materials like when I do my Faraday cages or I'm trying to protect something, the metal screen, and it's got to be metal screen, but metal screen for screen doors works really great. Aluminum, expanded aluminum that's lighter weight works great. And then when I build mine, I vary that in between different ice insulators. So I'll use a layer of that metal mesh, and then I'll use, say, a foam, and then I'll use a mylar that is bubble wrap on one side. And all of those I'll take and ground it to the ground if it's in like a trash can or something like that. But if it's not and it's just an isolated box, I just make sure it's completely wrapped up in that. And so you could do that with one of those smaller standalone solar units. They're usually about 100 watts or so, and they usually come with a controller. And then all you need to do is get yourself an inverter, and it wouldn't hurt to have a couple deep cycle batteries. But also keep in mind, if you need to expand your unit, if it does kill a lot of cars out there, there's going to also be a lot of batteries sitting around. So you can just go start yarding batteries out of cars that have been left and abandoned, say, because they just don't run. So you'll be able to scrounge things like that, but it wouldn't hurt to have a couple deep cycle batteries that you keep on a tender. And what that'll give you, 100-watt solar thing, panel, and a small controller and an inverter, a small inverter, probably the whole package together, under $150 probably, especially with that new cheap one that was out at Costco, if they ever get them back in. But it'll give you the ability to charge your smaller electronics, or even I saw a guy test one he made himself, out of just 100-watt panel, and he ran his refrigerator on it, for a few hours. So I was actually kind of shocked. He had a bigger inverter. It was like a 3,000-watt inverter and stuff like that. But I was impressed. It would get you enough time to react to things as well, and get them into different ways to store things. And keep in mind too, if you do lose power on the long term, in the old days, they dug pits in the ground and kept their food and whatnot in the ground, where the ground temperature stays at about, no matter where you're at for the most part. But if you get down a good depth and whatnot, you can keep small portions of food and supplies and stuff like that roughly at around 50, 55 degrees, right around there, and help you keep that stuff for longer. And if it's insulated, it would even be colder. So
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Got a couple quick things right fast, but yeah, you're absolutely right about putting things in the ground. We just did a video with our survival buckets. The key is make sure you're below frost line, your frost level line in your areas. Each state is different, just depends on the latitude. So your longitude's up and down, latitude's, yeah, latitude of where you live at. Real quick internet search will show that. I did see a comment here. Who knows one? Can you address the EMP shield being pushed by some YouTubers? I've read that they are tested to military specifications, 50,000 surge volts. I've read where they think some EMPs could be much more higher. We are also affiliated with EMP Shield. We have one here on our Tahoe, and we have one for our solar system. Most people don't, because they're not cheap. We paid 219, I believe, what the total was for the Tahoe. And that's because we got it around Christmas time of last year. We got a discount on Marfigel TV, and also EMP Shield was there and offered another discount. So that was a cheaper buy for us. I believe in the product. That's why I purchased it. As far as where people think some EMPs and CMEs could be, let me pull that back up, much higher. I'd have to read the documentation too. I don't have the specifications in front of me as far as what the EMP shield will do. They do have it on their website. They've been very open with that. As far as specifications tested by the military, I'm not sure as far as the military specifications being tested. I know that they've done their own set of tests, and I don't have the numbers in front of me. So if you go to the website, EMP Shield, they have all the information there just to cross-check and verify. But yeah, we're affiliated with them. We use them. We got it on this vehicle. I've done videos where we put it on, and I showed it when I was working on the truck too. So yeah,
well,
I have nothing bad to say about them at all.
and the important thing about the EMP shield is, because I was the same way, I wanted to look into it a little bit more. And the thing about the EMP shield is it's not just a single stage, one event type of say surge protector. I mean, it's not even really a surge protector, but let's just think of it that way to make it simplified. It's not a one-time protector thing, because an EMP, especially from say a nuclear device, isn't it's going to come through in pulses. There's going to be, they think, from the research I did, there's going to be three main type of pulses that come through, and they vary in intensity, usually starting with your most, or no, I think it starts with the lesser one and then it ends with the higher one. And the way I understand it is that EMP shield was made in such a way that, for one, it reacts faster than your average surge protector. It's like a like a millisecond or something like that, or a fraction of a millisecond. So it reacts very quickly. That's one thing that makes it work. And the other thing is it has 3 different levels that it's looking for, because it knows to expect that from an EMP, that it's going to have to not just protect against the first one. There's going to be a higher one and another higher one. And they're different types of pulses, meaning wavelengths, the way I understood it. And so it's looking for those to shut off. That's what makes it kind of work. And that's a basic explanation, but that's the way I saw it, as well as when I looked at how an EMP works, both nuclear and sun, and
Mm-hmm.
and then how they protected or are planning for that in the EMP shield. Um, I don't have any personally, just because I'm, of course, saving up for it and so forth, and spent my other things. But that's the way I understand it. So that's how they're saying it's going to protect it. It's not just like your surge protector that the lightning bolt hits and it shuts down everything so it doesn't fry your TV or from a brownout. It will work in that case, but it's looking for something far different. And it actually takes to everything within a 250-foot radius, I think. Like if you hook it up to your home, you can even hook it up to your solar panels, things like that. There are certain ones, but it acts as an antenna. So it knows that all those wires are going to act as an antenna. So it actually, just like the surge protectors in your house, those GFCIs,
Mm-hmm.
it's more than just one receptacle. It senses that whole circuit for a certain distance. You have to have so many per feet in a house when you build it, but it works just like that. So if it senses something down at the end, it'll still know it and shut itself off. So I hope that helps people with that explanation.
Sounds good to me. Uh, so I'm getting emails right now from mods and stuff. Um, I will have to review what's going on. I'm getting contradicting information from my mods right now. People are being put on timeout and stuff like that. If you are a moderator here, um, and if you have to time somebody out or remove somebody's comment, please screenshot those things for me. I will be reviewing the feed after just to make sure that everything's fair. I'm getting a lot of emails right now, so please use your best judgment on that. If you have to screenshot, if you have to time somebody out, stuff like that, screenshot it for me. I trust my mods, but I'm getting a lot of stuff. More than likely, we got a lot of trolls on right now. So if you will do that for me, it's just another part of the job of being a mod. If that is too much to ask for, we can always have you step down from being a mod. It's no harm, no foul. It's just that we've got a lot of stuff going on right now, and it's being on StreamYard. I cannot see what was being removed. I'm gonna have to go back and review personally. So hopefully we get everything worked out.
Well, and that being said,
Lois Young, gotta say good night. Stay safe, everyone. Lois, I definitely appreciate you being here. You get some rest.
yeah, and I just want to say something. If I haven't been able to watch chat as closely, but um, if there are trolls and stuff like that out there, I mean, just something to consider. Um, I know everybody that's here, a lot of the people in chat, not all of them, but most of them, as well as CFP himself, as well as the moderators here and so forth like that. And I know a lot of you know me. These are some of the most nicest, respectful, help you anytime type of people. Um, and that's really what we need these days. I mean, take a look around, even if you don't agree with what's being said and so forth like that. The one thing we absolutely have to, if we want to get through any event, whether it's natural or not, or just life in general, we have to not be divided, and we have to be able to come together and be there for each other. That's something that we've all forgotten, is what a community is. And without a community, you don't stand a chance. If you think you can do this on your own and be the lone wolf and stuff like that, you will for a time, but it won't last forever, because there are going to be people that group up, and some of them aren't going to be good. And I would like to think that we can all pull together, especially in these times. Just think about it. How have we ever had an instance in our entire life where we have an election where we say, no matter how it goes, it's going to be ugly? I've never experienced anything like that. So right now, the thing we absolutely have to have is each other. And so I would say that be respectful, put your differences aside, and try to understand where the other person is coming from. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I know you guys probably think that's dorky, but it is what it is.
Oh yeah, we know you're a dork. That's all right.
Yeah.
Um, so address one of the things that I've gotten comments before in the past is community. Okay, I am a big advocate for prepper communities, and one of the things that I get asked all the time. So we've already set up a prepper community there in Apopka, and we've also started establishing one right here where we live at. That way, we have backup. All right, having people that can pull together because you got to sleep at some point in time. And one of the questions I get is, how do we start? Okay, so I'm going to pull you in on this one too, because I may not be explaining a lot of things correctly to some people. They don't seem to be understanding. Um, First, I would work with my neighbors. All right, I would go talk to my neighbors. All right, most people in today's society don't talk to their neighbors. All right, they just know someone lives across the street or in an apartment complex down the hall. You may nod your head at them once in a great while, but most of the time they're just irritated because they're cutting the grass at 4 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. or whatever. Everybody's into everybody else's business. I would talk to my neighbors first. I would first discuss, like here in Florida, it's been very easy because we discuss hurricanes. Hey man, do you have enough water in case? Oh yeah, we do this, we do that, and it's always opened up a door for me here in Florida. I would first talk to your neighbors. Then I've had comments on that. Well, my neighbors all think I'm crazy. Okay, now slate a new plan. Talk to coworkers or other people in your area that you are friendly with, friends, all right, people that you know. Talk with them. You may have to bug out of your apartment building if everybody around you thinks that you're crazy and you've already told them that you're a prepper. Talk with people that are like-minded, all right, and start making plans. All right, if you might have to evacuate your apartment and go to them, so be it. At least you can have backup. But I don't know, what's your thoughts on better procedures?
Well, I mean, exactly like what you said. For instance, today I went to my doctor's appointment, brand new doctor, because the other one retired. And I simply just started a conversation with him, asked him, does he like to hunt? That's usually the one I start with. Do you like to hunt? Because if somebody likes to hunt, then you can assume that they like guns. And that's always a good starter because then you have something to talk about. Well, then you ask them, what do you think about what's going on these days? And they'll usually share their opinion. And you can kind of get a feel for who is a prepper in that case, or somebody who is, say, in tuned with what's going on, and somebody who's not. Somebody who's not won't have much to say to those questions, and that's how I've always started it. And also just paying attention. We all need to be a little bit more alert. I mean, I noticed that my neighbor, who is, of course, one of my good friends now, is in the military or in the National Guard because I saw him leave, and I paid attention that he was in, camo gear. So that's a couple options. Well, he's either going in the National Guard, or he's in a militia. So I asked him, and we got to talk about things that are going on. And I've shared, a good thing to do is share some of these less controversial, say, channels and so forth like that, and see how they respond to it. And I come to find out that his, just from just that opening up and talking with him and stuff, that his brother-in-law is actually part of the one of those like the Proud Boys, I believe it is.
Hmm.
So so you'd be surprised who you'd find out is, and I think for the most part you'll know who isn't. It'll be that neighbor who calls on you for parking your car out on the curb, or that you didn't cut your grass right away. Not saying that they can't be um uh, uh preppers and whatnot, but the ones that are usually a little bit more high strung like that are that way. Now, I will say this: it is absolutely something that you should do. You should be trying to bring people together and so forth like that. And then of course, that's how I got with Marfugel and whatnot. Is I honestly was out there looking for, and I think you'll find other people that are doing that, looking for groups that go beyond, because we want to have something that is more national, where you get to know people in other states, where you can communicate with them and know what's going on and so forth like that. Um, And that's what I did. I made friends in those kind of groups. Uh, and you can look into groups. Bringing that up, there are the Oath Keepers, Three Percenters. There's just a myriad of them. Proud Boys, Prayer Patriots. All of those groups usually have local chapters, and you can look into that and see if that works for you. But for the main part, you start with friends and family. And you get to know your friends and family and how they feel about those things. And I can tell you this: I think you'll find that opinions have changed an awful lot ever since CV started, because it went from Rip Curl's a little bit on the weird side to, geez, he's not so crazy now, because we had it needed, didn't have to go anywhere, but a big deal. And for the first time did I ever hear, boy, I'm glad you're crazy. So, and it's not that you're nutty. It's just that you're preparing for anything. I mean, something people need to remember is back in the day of your grandparents and your great grandparents, there was no such thing as preppers. And why I say that is because they called it living.
Yeah.
And that's what we've forgotten. We've gotten conditioned to a lifestyle where everything is just there, or it's immediate, or it's right now. Even to our supply chain, it's as needed. So, and everything's disposable. But that's not the way it was back in the day. It was normal to be a prepper per se back then. So that's just what you need. That's the way people need to start thinking about it, because if we do lose all of those things, we're going to need some skills, and you're going to need people that have skills that you don't have. And I think we'll fly right back into communities again.
Hey, give me 1 second. The wind's picking up here, and I just saw the door of the trailer sling open. Be right back.
So I would say too, just having people over. I don't think we've been as social as we have in the past. Have, when you find those people that are like-minded, or at least open to it, invite them over, have barbecues, just be friendly again, and you'll build a community. It's really easy to do. And you'll find that there are people that you just do not expect. Be open to that. And of course, be respectful when people don't feel the same way.
All right. Tony, good to see you. I saw Led Zepp girl pop in there. Good to see you. She says she just now got the notification. I'm not surprised. Let me see here right fast in chat. Let's see here. Scrolling through. All right. Okay. Nothing really stood out, at least while I was gone there. All right, guys. So if you guys got questions, feel free to put them in the chat for us, okay? While we got Rip Curl here with us. Mickey B, I didn't get the notice. Yeah, there's a lot of my live streams that don't get noticed out. Also check your bell icons. According to my analytics, only 1,300 some odd people actually have their bell icons clicked. In the analytics that we have as YouTube creators, it gives us a estimate of who's clicked and who hasn't. It doesn't tell us their name, just tells us how many. And we got over 5,000 people here, but only 1,300 people actually have the icon click for notifications. And sometimes you have to unclick it, then re-click it. So, but I've also had people get unsubscribed. It happens. All right, what else we got here?
I had an interesting thought just real quick. One thing I try to do when I prepare is, when I get stuff to put into my preps, and I try to plan maybe 5-10% of that stuff that I know is not going to be for me. And when I can afford to, and pick up some, cost effective things, and a way to, make relationships with other people that could be part of, a community, or more like-minded people, is be prepared to help. you'd be surprised when CV hit and people locked down and nobody had toilet paper. You could make all kinds of friends if you took a couple of rolls of toilet paper over to your neighbor who didn't have it, or who can't get out and get it because his elderly mother is afraid to go out because she might get sick, which is reasonable. um, and things like that. You got to be careful and don't let them know that you're necessarily at first totally stocked up, but being helpful like that, because then they know that there's somebody they can count on, and that opens it up to a friendship at that point.
Speaking of toilet paper, I traded a roll of toilet paper for a case of MREs from an Air Force dude. He posted they had MREs for sale, his own personal MREs, and he had put it on, I think it was Marketplace or something like that. And yeah, I just a roll of toilet paper. I got 12 MREs. Freaking awesome. Katie asked if they take the power out or there's a grid down, how long do you think it may last? Well, Katie, it depends on what caused the power to go out. If it is a coronal mass ejection, which is a solar storm from the sun, or a EMP blast, which is a high altitude nuke explosion, I expect for full, if let's say that let's just take an example. 3 examples, 3 high altitude nukes went off across America, strategically placed. Take out the entire country as far as throws us in the dark. No radiation, nothing like that, just knocks out the power grid, causes the charge. After the first year, we will see small pockets of power as far as people getting ideas on wrapping their own alternators, creating their own alternators, manufacturing on a small scale, and being able to power a light bulb. As far as government assistance, I wouldn't plan for 5 to 6 years, and that's not even going to be the whole nation. That's just going to be strategic areas, and they're going to be populated areas, things that they see that they need to get back up, like agriculture, water, things like that. It won't be neighborhoods. I'll say within 5 years, we won't see anything. After about 5 years, we'll start seeing small pockets. The problem with this is they say 90% during the first year will die. And that's mainly because of no food transportation. Their food's not being transported, bad water, septic systems, sewage, things like that. Hygiene is going to go downhill. People with medical equipment that relies on electricity will not work. So it will be bad. Now, smaller scale stuff, let's say they just turn off the power in an area because of unrest. Well, that's until they get the unrest took care of. Some believe that they will lock down a whole city and turn off power just to I forgot the word, to destabilize the riots and stuff like that. Take out anything that they can use for comfort and stuff, make them miserable being there. And that won't last very long. But now for a coronal mass ejection or a EMP, years before we even start seeing a small amount of power come back. And that's mainly because they're having to manufacture things. As far as our not transmitter, is it oh man, I am so out of it today. Transformers. I did a story on that. It is South Korea and Germany, I think it was, that actually manufacture those for export now. And it can take anywhere from 18 months to manufacture, let alone transport. And to transport these things, they have to have special vehicles. One thing, they can't drive it from there to here. They can't fly it from there to here because, I mean, there's no power. They're just way too heavy. So even shipping lanes, things like that's going to be down. It's going to be years before the power comes back.
Right. Well, and it all depends too on how far they've gotten with their hardening of the grid. So far, all I've seen is smaller and stockpiles of smaller and medium size transformers. But the only problem with that is the ones they're worried about is we have about 8 major areas with these massive transformers, and those are the ones, like you're saying, they use rare earth elements that we just don't have. or have to get from other countries. And like you said, they're made in Korea. Correct. And it takes about 18 months to make them, and then they have to ship them here. And these are things that take, they're super heavy and super big, and they only have to take down a certain amount of them for it to knock out most of the power to this area. Now, if
Yeah.
that was said about not quite 2 years ago, so do they have those up yet? I don't know. I just see small to mid-sized ones being everywhere.
Real quick, Lisa. Yeah, Lisa, you need a rest, CFP. Yeah, we're not going to be on too much longer, guys. I do need a rest after everything gone on today. But anyway, Tracy, any immediate worries we should be quickly prepped for, like with the selection coming up? Yes, food. You need to get your food in place. If they start locking down, and we already know they're going to be shutting down for Charlie Victor anyway, and we in the prepper community believe it's going to be a very hard lockdown. We've got a lot of intel coming from the alphabet companies, starting with an F. They've already been giving out their paperwork for essential people to be moving around, and some of these are large vehicle companies. There's also security detail that are also getting their papers now. I can't release that information because I'm not supposed to. I am not part of these companies, but I do have my own ties where I talk to certain individuals. We're going to see a hard lockdown, which means it's going to be very difficult to get access to certain foods, medical equipment, things like that. Get your food prepped. You've got to have food. All right. As far as them shutting power off during the lockdown, I don't think that's going to happen. Mainly because they know everyone's locked down. I think they'll be doing their best to keep power up. But we will see an increase in blackouts or brownouts, as they call them, because everybody's back home. Okay, everybody's using electricity. Everyone's online. We'll see an eruption with internet. And if things are going bad where they're doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing, kiss your internet goodbye. They're going to shut that down quick. It's supposed to be, the internet's supposed to be freedom of information, freedom to do this. The internet's so censored and so controlled. That's not going to last very long. If they want to shut down an area, the brownouts alone from power failures, some say the power failures are intentional, that it shut them down. Others just because the equipment's so old and not designed to withstand a lot of people at home running everything, just like they did with the first shutdown. So be prepared for power failures. New York had suffered some. I don't even see Joe anymore. I don't know what's going on with him. I ain't seen him in a while. He was always reporting like daily from New York City with their shutdown. He'd always come on, talk to us about things, and haven't seen him in a while, unless he changed his YouTube name. So food, if they start doing lockdowns, and they've got National Guard ready to deploy. They got National Guard that is deployed. All right, we're going to see more and more of that. There's going to be food shortages as far as transportation alone. It's not going to be on a timely fashion. So if you want my advice, get food situated. All right, get your food put up. That way you don't have to move around. And if you're in the big cities, definitely get your food put up. You do not want to have to be moving around in riot areas to go to the grocery store. One, the grocery store is probably not going to be open. All right. Two, it'll probably be trashed by the time you get down there. So keep yourself out of the situations. All right. You see people running around on YouTube with their cameras and things like that, watching film and stuff like that. I'm not going to fault them on that. If I had the ability to, and I was in the situation, sure, I'd probably be taking some film on certain things. Would it be stupid of me to do? Absolutely, because now I'm putting myself in harm's way, and being a prepper, I should know better. But these other individuals are not preppers. They're trying to get news information. That's their job. They're journalists. That's what they do. That's what they live for. So stay out of those areas, and being a prepper gives you that opportunity to stay away from those areas. I mean, we've done so many videos on vacuum sealing. Okay, those pintos right there, vacuum sealing your food. Real quick, I get a lot of comments. You need to be using Mylar. All right, Mylar vacuum seal food saver bags. They vacuum seal. Okay, the reason why we don't use Mylar is a lot more expensive. Now, does Mylar hold up better against UV lighting? Yes, of course it does. Do I plan on leaving my food out in the sun? No, I'm not. So, Mylar is the toughest thing to vacuum seal food. But I'm not planning on leaving my food laying around in the ground exposed to the elements either. So, vacuum seal bags are cheaper. That's why we go with them. Are we able to contain our environment for them? We just did a videos on putting food into the ground. No, we're not throwing food directly into the ground. We're putting them in buckets. But there's a lot of things you can do. I hate to say on the cheap, but hey, when you're trying to prep, especially last minute preps, sometimes you got to go on the cheap just to make sure it works. Rip, if you want to take some of this, I'm going to look at the chat.
Um, I would say on the minimum, I would say, and I'll try to get this in order: water, have some water or ability to store water, food at a bare minimum, have money out of the bank set aside just in case things are still going and you can get your last minute items that you need, and protection. You've got to have protection. And when I say protection, I don't necessarily mean lethal protection only. Have yourself. I always look at things as I want non-lethal and lethal options because I don't want to have to hurt anyone. I would rather discourage them. So have your multiple options, especially now, or in an area that can't have it. Definitely look into your type options, because if things, for instance, as you can see, and CFP brings up a good point, especially about getting food, just from riots alone in the current area that's having them, they ravaged a Walmart. And that's not even anything about food or loss of power or anything. That was simply over they're enraged about somebody that got shot. And I'm not saying I'm for or against what happened there. I have my own opinions there, but the reality of it is it caused what it caused, and they wiped out a Walmart. So imagine what it would be if the catalyst wasn't an event like the police event and the shooting, and it was just all out, darkness and hunger. Imagine how fast that Walmart and every single other store would be emptied. And it's not about to get refilled right away. So have those things on hand, and a group. I would say get a group together and have kind of a plan what you're going to do to help each other out. That kind
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, JT, I just saw you in here. Good to see you. T-Light had a question here. When do you foresee this to be happening? Will it be triggered by the elections? Excuse me. No, I don't have COVID or anything like that. Oh man, Charlie Victor, I just swallowed a piece of dip. Not good. Yes, I do foresee. I hate to use the word foresee. I'm not psychic or anything like that. Just looking at the tension that's building up, the things that are being said by these groups that are refusing to take any, that are refusing any election outcome. Yes, definitely for the election, we're going to see a lot. I still believe with my intel that we're going to see it before the election. We're going to start seeing shutdowns. And this is going to cause a lot of rioting also because, which brings me to another topic. I watched Miss AOC. I love her. I love picking on her. She's a freaking idiot. Anyway, she was up there talking about the long lines at early voting and how much it was an injustice because there's such a long line and people are having to wait 2 to 3 hours to vote. That's always been that way. As far as I know, when they've ever had early election and even voting, just depends on what populace you're voting at, what city, what the populace outturn is. But she just kept on going about the injustice and they need to fix this and how they're going to change things. All they're trying to do is start a spark in people. What injustice is it that you have to wait in line because you didn't get to get your instant gratification? Very possible. I will address one thing. When my wife went to vote, the person that was working there said, "Here's your Republican ballot." Out loud. That's a no-no. That person, oh, I raised Sam Cain over that one. That is nobody's business. But they made sure they announced it. That person, I went off. Okay, I don't know if the person's going to get fired, if they're volunteered. I don't care. I don't know. When I get mad, I get mad, and I made sure I let everybody know that person needs to be removed from their position because they have no right giving that information out. And I see voter intimidation. We just saw, I believe it was Bone, no, it was CJ Blaze. CJ Blaze posted in her Twitter, had old Harris up there. People are going in to vote, and she's out there talking on a loudspeaker. That's voter intimidation. Why is the person running for vice president out there at the polling where you go vote out there? My opinion, that's voter intimidation. I think the question was on CJ Blaze's tweet, is this illegal? I don't think it is illegal, but I do feel like it is voter intimidation being out there doing that stuff. Also, when you see groups of people out there screaming and hollering at T-Man supporters because they know that they either have their patriotic stuff on them, whatever, and calling them out while they're trying to vote, that needs to be addressed. That needs to be shut down. That information. I get people have a right to protest, but when you are threatening people, that's intimidation, especially when you're trying to use your right to vote, and then you have to run into that. That needs to be addressed, not the lines for people to go vote. No, I'm not worried about the lines. I'm happy to go vote. All right. It's you're right. But having intimidation factors there, I don't agree with. But anyway, sorry,
Well,
I got on a tangent there.
yeah, and well, I think what people need to pay attention to there is too is when you see things like that that you haven't seen before, and you see that kind of stuff going on, even at polling booths and so forth like that, that is a absolute, and this is what I mean about being aware. It's an absolute sign of desperation, and that's the reason they're doing it. They know it's ugly out there for their candidate, and they're desperate and are doing whatever they can. I mean, you shouldn't see those kind of things. It and so that should tell you what to expect come time of that selection, that's going to be being made. So, and aside from that too, I wanted to answer the viewer's question there in a certain way. If you are asking what I think is in the near future, I don't know if it's before or after when it's going to happen, but I can tell you some things that I have seen. I have seen the fact that there are trials being rushed. I mean, seriously rushed. And I say this knowing, I know people that are part of the trials for uh, the V and are part of it right now. And there are multiple ones going for it, and they're looking for different ways. And it's not just a single dose, it's part of a multiple trial. And they're in such a rush that on top of that, knowing people personally who are doing that, which I don't understand because I won't be. They're also making precautions. We need to look along around us. If you look up in Canada and so forth and are paying attention, they're building what they're calling quarantine buildings. But when you read the actual description of what they're going to be used for, it says quarantine and other. Well, they were asking, there was a parliamentarian, I think they call him, was asking, what do you mean by and other? And they basically cut his mic and told him to have a seat. They wouldn't answer the question. Well, and other means it's the people that won't agree to get the dose, we'll call it.
Yeah.
So kind of things are happening over there. If you don't think they're happening here, I will tell you this for sure. There has been truckers around here that have sent me videos that have confirmed that there are Red Cross Humvees being delivered in all directions. There was a whole big old convoy of them coming to the west. And if you're paying attention, our current leader has said, we are ready to carry this out, and we will have a dose ready for everyone, and we're going to get it done, according to him, in 2 weeks. The only way that's possible is to be ready and have it all in place. And I can tell you this, there was a video I saw, and I didn't take it. I took it with a grain of salt, where somebody had said that they were in a, I'm a contractor, and I've built houses and developed and so forth in the past. And there was a company that we used to get all of our supplies from when it came to plumbing and electrical. And there was a guy who did a video and I think it was on CJ Blaze's page as well, or her channel. And this person was saying that they couldn't get PEX pipe. PEX pipe is a plumbing pipe that's used in most building right now, and RVs, everything. And it's meant for moving water and so forth like that, as well as gases and stuff. I think it can be used for too. And he said that they told him that they were out because all of it had been shipped in his area. And this is a nationwide business or warehouse. All of that had been shipped to a place that was cranking out dose trailers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so they're mobile dose trailers. So they're building basically RVs that are set up to give this out. And so much so that it's affected a national supply of PEX pipe. Now, I didn't just stop there. I had to find out for myself. So I went ahead and checked with our local warehouse that is with that building. And I called some friends that are regional and district managers of those stores as well. So they're traveling to different areas, and they wouldn't say a lot, but what they did confirm is that there was a shortage of that, and that those kind of trailers were being built. They wouldn't say whether or not they sent their supplies there or not, but they said there is a shortage, and that's part of why. So that being said, that can kind of give you an idea of what's going to happen here soon when they do, if they do lock us down, which I think they will. I don't think it'll, and you've heard in the news too, it's every day they're talking about the cases are skyrocketing. So that being said, cases skyrocketing, so they're foreshadowing, they're getting it in your head, and then when the time comes, they will do a lockdown, and they'll do it under the guise of all of these cases, but it'll also be to get you exactly where they need you to be, so they know how to efficiently carry out everybody getting their dose. That's and I have some information there to back it up. So I would say that's what I would suspect is in the future getting ready to happen. And if you plan on saying no, then you need to prepare.
Yeah. Before we went live, I was flipping through my internet feed, and I saw they were claiming 45 states. Charlie Victor cases up. I think the only one, there were 3 that weren't. It was Washington, Oregon, and Virginia were the only ones not lit up in orange. And I showed my wife. I said, look at this. She says, really? You talking about getting people ready for whatever they're fixing to do? I said, yeah, they're getting ready for shutting people down. They're going to use this stuff for another shutdown, and it's going to be mandatory. And on the talk of the trailers that you're talking about, me and you already talked about this on the phone. You don't build these things before the need. Okay. That's not how this works. They don't sit there and build all these mobile vaccination trailers unless they already plan on using them. And the fact is that when our commander-in-chief said that they would use the military and have the vaccinations processed within a few weeks and, rock and roll and all that good stuff, they've already got all this stuff planned out. Anyway, Rip, I do appreciate you. I'm really not feeling too good right now, brother. Guys, Rip Curl has his own YouTube channel. I definitely encourage everybody to go over there and subscribe to him. He's working on it. He's new to being a YouTube creator, but he's not new to YouTube. Okay. Hopefully we can have him on a lot more. I'm just not feeling very good, guys. Hospital trip today and everything. It's just, I got to get some rest. Okay. Again, Rip Curl, I do appreciate you being here, brother. If you want to finish off anything else you want to say before we go.
just wanted to say, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Survival Living. And if you have a chance, come over and check me out too, and watch my videos and whatnot. I'll be trying to get some more out in the future. I do have some that are in the works right now, and some that are already done. I'm just kind of making sure that I can put them out without getting axed right out the gate, if you know what I mean.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I can tell you this: if one person that I watch all the time is CFP and Survival Living here, if you want to talk about a real world guy who not only does it in the real world situation, but is doing it. I mean, I couldn't imagine. My better half would probably already have me buried with the food buckets if I was making her live in a.
Oh
So I can, but if there's a guy that can drive, that's CFP, baby.
yeah, yeah. I'm real fortunate that my wife is on board. When we first met, I told her, she's like, okay, everybody does that down here in Florida. And then I showed her, and she's like, oh, you're for real. You're one of those guys. But she's on board 100%. She actually sleeps better at night knowing that we are prepared for things. Um, I'm the type of person, when she hears something in the house, she made a joke about it the other day. She says, most people when they hear something in the house, I think we're watching a scary movie or something like that, where everyone's running in the other direction or get real quiet and listen. She says, you're the type of guy that grabs the biggest knife and takes off running towards the noise. I'm like, yeah, I've always been that way. I'm not going to sit there and cower. I want to go ahead and identify the threat and take it out. But yeah, I'm just not feeling too good tonight, guys. I do appreciate everybody here, everyone that's come in. This is one of our largest live streams, by the way, guys. I was seeing the count. We had over 100 people in our live stream, so definitely appreciate every single one of you guys. CJ Blaze, there she is. We were talking about you. Honest, all good stuff. We always
Yep.
do. But we are ending the stream, guys. Again, to our new channel members, I do appreciate you guys joining. Again, send me an email at centralfloridaprepper@hotmail.com. That way I can contact you and we can do a one-on-one interaction via StreamYards. So we get to talk. You can talk about anything you want to. And we will get everything squared away, guys. Be safe. If you have not started prepping, please start getting some food back. Water filtration. There's $20 at Walmart. A Sawyer Mini. If you don't want a Sawyer Mini, there's the Life Straw. It's under $20. You can filter out your water. Learn how to boil your water. We got plenty of videos in our playlist on how to boil water. If you don't want to watch my videos, there are plenty of other great YouTubers, great preppers here. Another great prepper right off the top of my head, not Rip Curl. No, I'm picking. Rip Curl is a great dude. Don't get me wrong. I'm just picking on him. Alaska Prepper. Right off the bat, out the gate, Alaska Prepper's got great information. If you don't find my information worth watching, there are so many other ones out there, guys. My main purpose on YouTube is to teach people how to survive a situation. If you can take one little piece of information that I've given you and that provides you security or extends your life in SHTF, I've done my job. Okay. That's all I needed to do. We have been able to help many people get them into prepping. They have contacted us saying, thank you so much for this. We don't need to hear thank you so much. We appreciate it. I really do. When I read a comment saying, hey, I really appreciate you doing this. I did not see that little bit of information. It's going to help me out. That means a lot to us. But in the same aspect of things, I learn a lot from our community right here. Please, when you see a video, go through the comment section. There is always a wealth of information of preppers in our comment section. And just about everybody in our comment section, if you comment back to them, they will start a conversation with you right there. They will talk you through what they're working on. Sometimes there are a few people that get heated and bent out of shape. It's human nature. No, people just get bent out of shape sometimes. But for the majority of the part, most people in our community want to help each other out. So anyway, guys, I gotta get some rest. I gotta review some things that happened on the chat. We will be doing another video like we did just recently where I take comments and questions and try to answer them because I know I missed a lot of them on our live stream. So I will review it the next couple of days so I can get those questions and comments answered for you. So again, guys, love every single one of you and definitely appreciate the support. Rip Curl, thank you so much, man. It was a last minute type of thing to get you on here. I
Well,
appreciate your help, brother. I
yeah,
wanted to do a live stream tonight, and I just was not feeling up to doing it all by myself tonight. You really helped me out a lot. Everybody here, I mean, most people here know you. You know you're well loved by our family here, and you're always welcome to be on our show.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. And what you said is so true. You know, most people actually know me from chats and helping other people out, and and eventually I'll be working up starting up new videos that add to like the things you're doing, and we'll show some of the things you may have shown again so that people can
Hmm.
see different ways of doing it. So it's all
Yeah,
about that. So yeah, absolutely. Leave a comment too. I go through my comments, I watch them, and if I can respond back with something that I think is helpful, I absolutely do. Be patient with me because I'm a little bit of a slow typer, but definitely, I will help as many people as I can, like I always have. So I appreciate you asking me. I do.
absolutely, brother. All right, guys and gals, that's just the way I talk. Those that know me, I just say, all right, guys. But, and to the ladies here, we'll talk to y'all later. Appreciate every single one of y'all. So, y'all have a great night.